Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today is an episode that's really fucking exciting for me because you have been on the list of people I've wanted to have on.
No, I have not.
No, this is the whole thing. I was talking to Lily about it, and then she goes, she moved back, right? And I was like, no, because I was only watching your old videos.
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea you had moved back here.
Wow. Well, I mean, in your defense, it was a couple months ago.
Okay, no, it was true. And this was Lily. I talked to, it was right before I reached out to you, and I was like, bitch, you're here? It's Jessi Smiles, everyone. I'm so sorry if you're not watching.
Nobody knows. But why did you want to have me on? I don't get it.
Because I found out you had a beauty channel that Lily told me about. Then Lily's also your publicist, by the way.
Yeah, I love that for me.
So then I was watching those and I was like, this is so interesting. I'm enjoying this. And that's how I discovered Kathleen Lights through you.
Yeah.
And then I was like watching all of your Zodiac shit and I was like, oh God, we are all the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, had known you before that. And I was like, I just think you'd be really good on this.
Well, thank you. I was mentioning to her before, I'm scared of hurting people's feelings.
But they're not here. That's the part.
But they're watching.
Yeah, but like we've been told that we hurt feelings recently.
I literally got told I hurt someone's feelings yesterday. But here's the thing.
But
it's never the person who calls in. That person's feelings are never hurt. I mean, I'm not going to never say never, but they don't tell us. It's other people who are being like, I feel like that was kind of harsh. And my response is, sometimes you need to be harsh. I'm going to say the shit that your friends are too nice to say.
I appreciate that. And I'm like that with my family. I always say that, like, if you're around a bunch of yes men that don't want to hurt your feelings, it cripples you as a human being. So, like, it's beneficial to be offered different perspectives that are not your own. But then I get scared. I'm like, oh my God, they're probably crying.
It's okay. I'm always the mean one. Our guest is always way nicer than
Amazing.
me. I'm always way meaner. Except Megan Tonjes. Megan Tonjes matched me on a level where she was just going in. And I was like, okay, fuck yes, Scorpio.
I think I will be maybe a little bit harsher than you think.
And a lot of the time people will say, feel free to tell me if I'm being a dumb bitch. Feel free to roast me. And then I kind of take the 3 people who said that and apply it to everybody who didn't say it. And I'm like,
some of the things you get are so bizarre that I just don't want to react the wrong way.
Girl, I'm
excited.
Yeah, I was like, Jessi's coming. I can pick the ones that I usually reserve for when it's Melissa and I because I don't want to subject our guests to it, but I know you can handle it.
I can.
You 100% can.
I mean, I just have to tap into the old me pre-birth.
Yeah, story time you.
Pre-birth, I was a different human being. So I can tap into that. I'm still that bitch.
I know you are deep down. So if you guys want to be in an upcoming episode, you can call us at 310-694-0976. Woo, okay. And international listeners, you can send us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And if you guys want to listen ad-free, you can head over to Stitcher Premium and listen to us sans ads. Sansa Stark ads. We only do ads as the character of Sansa Stark. Kidding. Sans, like none. No, none.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Should we hop in?
Let's do it.
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and yes. So I'm 23, and the reason why I'm calling is I have this weird situation with my coworker. In the past, him and I recently started working together this year. We work together in a victim services unit. So we spend most of the day, pretty much hanging out, waiting for, people to call us back. And on a company outing, he mentioned to a couple of mutual friends and coworkers of ours that he might have feelings for me, but because of a situation that happened in the beginning of the year with his ex, he wasn't willing to pursue a relationship. And I think he's an attractive guy, but I was also, you know, very much focused on my career and getting into a police department and everything. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, this guy that I've been seeing came to pick me up from the job site. And when I turned around to show him, the guy that I'm seeing, where my office is after we kissed, hello, I saw my partner looking out the window at us. The next morning, I found out that he blocked me on Snapchat when I went to go send him a picture of a really cute dog. And when I confronted him about it, he told me that he deleted Snap and deleted his account. But I saw that one of our mutual coworkers had tagged him in a story. And another thing is that anytime I bring up like guys that I'm seeing or anything like that, he gets all like distant and cold and very much like do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like I'm not here to tell you what you can and cannot do. But when he hears that they went bad or I'm no longer seeing the guy, he gets all warm and back to being friendly. The guy that I'm seeing thinks that he has feelings for me. I don't know what to do because anytime I confront him, he gets cold. So if you have any advice, that'd be great. Thanks.
That's a fucking loser.
He's a Gemini or an Aries, for
this
sure.
This is literally what I do on every episode. I'm like, what sign are you?
Oh my God, he has to be a Gemini or an Aries. That is so immature. That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's also one of those things that like I don't know. I'm in the camp of like, if you want to date me, then date me. But if you don't want to date me, like you don't get to have like, you don't get to feel some type of way about my life.
Oh, but they always do. The losers.
Yeah,
they always do.
The fucking weenies of the world.
They do. And it's like, it's such a cliche because it's happened to me before I met my husband so many times where a guy did not want to commit because that takes actual effort. But they wanted that control and they wanted to feel like, okay, but if I see you and we're around, then we're doing our thing where we flirt and then we're doing, you know, our thing. That's what we do. But it's like, no, that's not what I want. No. And then when you finally find someone, I mean, when I found my husband, I had guys like crying to me and being like, you deserve that. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Bye.
Yeah,
like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, what? It's this weird thing where they just need to know that they still can't, like, they want that. And it's so selfish. And it's like, get as far away from that as you possibly can.
100%. And like the fact that he acts cold and is like, do whatever the fuck you want or whatever, like that's like a dick move. Because I'm also, I will admit, I love attention. I love when people like me, even if I don't like them. Like, for sure. Unless it's someone that I really care about and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, which to be honest, that's like happened once and I was like, you're gay. I was like, really? But I didn't say that. It was really hard for me to be like, you don't like me. We're like, just the same because I'm a gay man trapped inside. And like, that's just, this is why we get along so well. He is out now. But like, there is never a part that's like an evil, gross part of you that wants people to like you, even if you don't have feelings for them. So like, you don't act on that. You don't like be cold. You don't be a dick. Like that's something that you self-filter and he's not doing that. And I just think you have to lay down the law with him and be like, here's the thing, dude. Like, I'm dating this guy. Every time I bring up guys or I talk about guys, also figure out if you are doing it to make him jealous or if you like actually do like these other guys. Right. And then be like, here's the thing. Like if you like, you get super in your feels about anytime I bring this stuff up and like, but you don't want to date me because of something happened with your ex. So like, what do you expect me to do? Do you expect me to kind of wait around? Because at the end of the day, if he really did care about you, you wouldn't have to, like, it wouldn't matter. Like, the shit that went down with his ex, he would quit. If it was like, oh, I don't want to date someone I work with, he would quit his job. Like, do you know what I mean? And like,
people they love the excuses when they can't just own up to the fact that they don't want a relationship. It's the most ridiculous thing about people. Like, it's so hard for people to just be upfront and be like, yeah, don't want a relationship
with
you.
It's not you. And that's the whole thing. It's like, it's not going to be you. And the thing that sucks is like, it's like trying to get someone to commit who doesn't want to. You're going to then like maybe it could be 2 weeks from now that they're going to meet someone and they're going to totally want to commit and settle down. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like all of these, like those obstacles will be something like, oh, we can deal with this. But if he's not choosing to like go through all of that, he doesn't actually care about you. Like you said, he likes that control and that power.
100%. And I love what you said about the self-filtering because it's so true. They're like human beings, a lot of us do like attention and it's a natural thing. And it's not like you meet someone and then all of a sudden you don't want attention anymore. Like you do, but you have to be mindful and like not disrespectful and then just be like, okay, like I have wanted to keep someone around before but not want a relationship.
100%.
But as soon as you see that like affecting them, you're like, oh, this isn't right. And you have to let them go.
Yeah.
And they're still coworkers, right? From what she was saying. That's fine. I mean, everybody's uncomfortable at work sometimes. It's like just go to work and then go home and you're fine. Yeah. So if you're worried about that relationship, like ruining that, fuck it. Like,
and
who cares?
I do think like it is obvious that he does have feelings for you, but I don't think he has the kind of feelings that you want him to have for you. And I don't think he's going to have them.
Never.
I just think that this is like, it is what it is. And no matter, like you have to lay down the law. And then like you said, just if it's going to be awkward, it's going to be awkward. And then just he has to deal with it. And he looks super fucking dumb.
Yeah. I mean, the times that I've had that happen in my relationship now, that it's like, if that relationship is really important to you with your new partner, you have to block that all out.
100%.
Like if you feel that it's disrespecting your relationship in any way, like block him. And only speak to him if you have to, and that's it. Bye. Like go away. I mean, that's actually respecting your relationship because otherwise they weasel their way in however they can in the weirdest ways. They'll like, I've had guys who will just like reply to one of my stories with some shit that I'm like, ew. Like, that's just weird. Like, get the fuck away.
I had a guy that I like had a thing with message me out of the blue like last week. He has this like special nickname for me that like he just came up with that no one, it's just very weird. It's very, and like we never like really dated.
Yeah.
And so it's just very odd, but he like basically, he did like the combination of my least favorite things. It's like, hey, someone coming out of like the woodwork that you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to this person. But then also hey, I'm doing this like social media thing for work. Could you help me do it? Basically being like, hey, could you do my job for free? God. And I was like, what? But yeah, it was like that kind of stuff where I was like, oh, this is clear. Like, this is like, it's like when I was in like middle school and I would be like, hey, can you help me with the homework? Like, I don't remember what it is. Like, they will do anything.
100%.
And I think also like if you're going to keep letting him like filter and infiltrate your relationships, you're never going to get in a new relationship or a good one because like you said, like you have to respect those boundaries with a new person that you're dating and you're just never going to get there because you're like not fully letting this guy go. Yeah. So I think you need to let him the fuck go.
I think it's those what ifs that always like keep you around and doing weird shit where you're just like, well, I don't know, maybe. And it's like, it's not going to happen with him. It's just not. Once he gets you, that will be the end of that. Like that's it. Once you leave your partner, let's say hypothetically, and then you fall in love with this guy, he's not going to be the person that you need because the person that you need would never even do anything like this. Like it's so shady.
And that like cold sort of thing, that's a personality trait. That's not just about what you're talking about. Like he would do that again in other situations if he didn't like something that you're doing, which is just toxic and gross. So say goodbye, boy, bye.
Bye.
Fuck him. But not literally. On to the next one. Please don't literally fuck him.
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and guest. So this basically just happened. I'm 20 years old and my new boyfriend, very new, like only a month, he was just over. He is 25 and he was telling me that, first of all, he hates when I fake tan, which bothered me because I like to fake tan because it makes me feel more confident about myself. And I feel like I look better when I tan. And he was basically like, you look like a sweet potato walking around, which I don't. I mean, I use a very subtle tan. Anyways, I didn't know how to respond to that. And also he had asked me before he left, like how much I weighed. And it was just a very uncomfortable situation. And I don't really know what to say. Like I've told him that it is like hurtful that he's saying this stuff. And then it makes me feel bad about myself. And he's like, no, I just want you to know that I like you the way that you are naturally. So if you have any tips on what to say or how to handle this, or if I should run because it's so soon, please let me know. Okay, thank you. Bye.
First of all,
I love the sweet potato comment.
I need
That's
pictures
amazing.
of your tan. I truly do.
Coming from someone that used to get spray tanned,
same.
I look back and now do realize I did in fact look like a sweet potato. So I'm not saying you do look like a sweet potato. I'm saying it's like an 80-20 chance that you do look like a sweet potato. And that's fine. Like, if that makes you feel 100%. Good, like, whatever. But you will look back, like, in your more pale days. Like, now I'm like, oh my God, like, I like that I'm pale. Like, it's who I am. But, like, it's always a sweet potato look.
Oh,
always.
yeah. And also, it can just be a matter of switching brands of fake tan to go for something that has a little more olive-y, that is a little less orange.
Yes, that's true.
So I do wish we had a picture for reference. Just because, like, yes, does it suck and he shouldn't be the one to tell you? Your friends totally should.
Yeah.
But the weight thing is also really weird to me. Like, does he want to take you like bungee jumping or like on a rock? Like, it just seemed so factual. And she was like, yeah, but he's like, oh, by the way, how much do you weigh?
If my husband ever asked me that, but
wouldn't you wonder, like, why do you want it? For what reason?
No, there is no reason you should ever have to. Like, if you're concerned maybe for my health, fair enough. Okay, I could barely get up a flight of stairs without like huffing and puffing. Like, okay, thank you. But like, don't ask me like, so what's the number? That's completely in any, I mean, not even my brother can ask me that. Like, nobody.
And I think that's the part of my mind that goes to like, well, why did he want to, like.
It is a bit weird.
Does he want to take you on something that has like a weight minimum or a weight maximum?
Yeah, it get even creepier.
Do you know what I mean? Because
when
I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know what context that comes. Like, hey, by the way, how much do you weigh? It's like,
but that doesn't even tie into the whole he wants me naturally. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
So that has nothing to do with weight. I think the weight thing is weird. Maybe he's just one of those people that genuinely doesn't have a filter. You know those people that you're just like, that came out of your mouth? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, both of these things sound like no filter.
But it is a little, I mean, I think that how
1 month.
Yeah, no. At 1 month, you are both like being
You're lying.
super
You're
fake.
not farting.
No. Oh my God. Exactly. If you're not farting yet, like you shouldn't be talking about shit like that. It's just not the time. It's a little too early for anything like that to happen, in my opinion. I feel like if there's any red flags at 1 month, it's going to go south.
Oh my God, because it can only get worse. Like 1 month, again, like you said, you're on your best behavior. So if your best behavior is calling me a sweet potato and asking me how much I weigh, what is your worst behavior?
Yeah.
Like, what are you 6 months in?
Oh, and God forbid, like 3 years in when you're like just bored a little bit. And then you're like, then they say some shit like that and you're like, okay, all of your redeeming qualities have slowly faded away. 100%. I love you, but shut the fuck up. So it's not, I don't think that that's appropriate. At all.
Yeah.
You don't know each other well enough. It is the fake stage and it's supposed to be perfect. And that's a weird thing for someone to say. Even for a friend that you just met to tell you look like a sweet potato.
100%.
It's weird. It's a month.
I think it's even weird, like the wording of both of those, even if it was like a lifelong friend. Like there's a way to go about of being like, I've had friends who've like had splotchy tans and I'm like, I will make a joke about it. I'm like, we got some nice Neapolitan ice cream on that wrist right there. Like as a joke to a friend I've had forever. And she'll be like, oh my God, no, I know. Like it's not great. Or it'll be like, hey, I'm getting a new fake, like I just got this new like fake tan. It's so good. You should totally try it out. Like there's a way, not that he is going to say that, but like there's a way to kind of go about that.
I'm all for being upfront. I think it's one of the things that can bypass you past like so much of the passive aggressiveness we have as human beings towards each other. But like, that's just weird to me. Like that just like, oh, you look like a sweet potato. By the way, how much do you weigh? Obviously we weren't there. We don't know the conversation.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with him.
I mean, if he said sweet potato at all, like that's all I need to know. But like, it's, I think it's weird. And I'm not saying like break up with your boyfriend.
Oh, I'm saying break up with your boyfriend. Boy, bye. What a fucking weirdo.
Your boyfriend.
I also, to be totally fair, I think if you have a label and you set a label as this is my boyfriend a month in, I think that's also a little sketchy. I think like you should.
I'm not one to talk.
Well, I mean,
I think my husband moved in with me after like a month and a half.
Okay,
and I was pregnant.
But you guys had a very different situation. I think there's like if you establish and have like, oh, we're gonna be boyfriend, girlfriend, and all this stuff before you've gotten through like your first argument or any of this kind of stuff.
I can't weigh in on this. I would be a fucking hypocrite.
When did you guys start calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend?
Do you want to know the real answer? Because I think the internet's gonna be like, you fucking psycho. I met him. We hung out the next night, and the next morning he asked me to be his girlfriend. Okay. And then 2 weeks later, he was visiting me in Miami. But 2 weeks later,
have you done that in other relationships?
Never.
Okay, so then there we go.
Never.
I think that's fair then.
It's still weird.
I moved in with my boyfriend we were friends for a year before, but we moved in together like unofficially like 3 months after we started dating.
By then I was like super pregnant. So I think I win, Megan.
Yeah, but you guys worked out.
Well, no, super. But I tell him all the time, like, this could have been horrible.
Oh,
like, we could have hated each other. We're raising a child for crying out loud. So like, I'm not one to weigh in, but although my situation could have gone a lot worse, it didn't. And so I feel like I still can say,
he never called you a sweet potato. Think about that.
He never, no.
1 month in, he didn't do any of that.
It was perfect. It was bliss. I mean, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
It went well. But like, like a month in, I was just like, this is like the best. And still, I mean, he's like the most amazing person I've ever met. So like, I felt that, therefore I continued the relationship. If a month or 2 weeks in, he was being weird already, I would have left and I would have been like, okay, bye. I don't know.
Yeah. And so, and in that case, then the title wouldn't matter that he was your boyfriend.
Oh,
so
no.
I think that's also, you have to
left.
I would say like in general, don't think about this of like, oh, I'm breaking up with my boyfriend. But it's like, this is a guy you've been dating for a month who's being fucking crazy. Who cares if he's your boyfriend or not? Like,
and you're young.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the best years. I mean, some say that 30s is your best years, which I
hope.
From what I've seen is true. But like, I just think that you don't want to, if you already see weird things like this happening, don't waste your time.
No.
Like, just keep it pushing. These are the best years. You can do whatever you want. Just go for it. Like,
yeah, it's only going to get worse. He's only going to start calling you like carrot top.
I guess we are saying break up with your boyfriend.
Yeah, break up with your boyfriend.
Okay.
Jessi doesn't want to own up to it and say it, but I'll say it. Break up with your boyfriend.
Yeah, fuck it.
So, best of luck. And please send us a picture of what your tan looks like. I just want to know, because what if she's not orange at all?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Is that possible?
I also just want to put it out there. I fucking hate when guys are like, and they say this because they think, I like a girl who's natural.
No, you don't.
Shut the fuck up. And also, I don't give a shit.
What they mean is like, wear foundation. They're stupid. You don't wear any.
I want you to look like Emily Ratajkowski, and I want you to put no effort in.
Have you seen the Rihanna? There's like a clip going around Twitter where she's like, guys are stupid. You just like wear a little bit of lipstick and
it's
nothing.
mascara.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, you look so beautiful. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And also, like, when hasn't a girl ever done like a smoky blue eyeshadow look for a man?
Never.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Never.
I just hate the idea that it's like, well, this guy, he really likes me natural. So like,
bullshit.
I'm like, bitch, first of all, you don't know what natural is. And also like, fuck you in your opinion.
And then you see the women that they like and it's the Kim Kardashians of the world. And it's like, fuck off. Like, none of us look like that.
No
like,
one was born like that.
You give me a makeup eraser and you're going to be scared. Like, it's like, it just is what it is. So it's bullshit.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree.
Leave your boyfriend.
Yeah, please do. On to the next one.
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and potential guest. So I'm 23 years old and have been with my boyfriend, who is 24 years old, for about 9 months now. We believe we're going to end up together because we both came out of very serious long-term relationships, and we went in knowing exactly what we did and didn't want. We also started our own businesses and are always looking for extra streams of income, just as a side note. Anyways, our relationship is always more great than bad. However, we hit a rough spot recently. I was listening to a podcast that mentioned selling feet pictures and how common it was, so I decided to look into it and give it a try. I didn't know if it was actually going to work, so before bringing it up to my boyfriend, I decided to create an Instagram to see if I get any interest. Immediately, I received guys willing to pay me anywhere from $500 to $1,500 on a weekly basis just for sending them feet pictures. So like good money. So before committing to anything, I brought it up with my boyfriend and explained how I understood if he was uncomfortable with it, but I would allow him full access so he knows who I'm talking to and what's going on. He wasn't very excited about it, but was impressed with how much money I could make, so he told me he would think about it. The next day, he said that he doesn't love that guys are going to be messaging me for feet pictures and getting off to them, but if he was able to have full access to everything, it would be okay. So I thought that was great and proceeded talking to the guys and discussing offers. Well, later that night, we had a huge argument because he saw me on my phone talking to a random guy, and since he didn't know what was being said, he started acting as if I was cheating on him. This was one of the worst fights we've had, and we didn't even resolve it until the next day. Long story short, even though this is already long, he didn't like that I started the profile without telling him, and now he feels like he's not sure what else I could do without him knowing. And this upsets me because that all comes down to trust, and I've never given him a reason to not trust me in the time we've been together. Plus, I've never cheated on any of my past relationships, and he knows that. He was cheated on in the past, so it stems from that,
but I never want him to feel that way about me. We finally resolved it by having him check over the profile, see who I've talked to and what's been said, and then we decided that I wouldn't use it again. I'm frustrated because what I thought would be an easy, harmless way to make money turned into almost breaking up over trust issues. And I get his point of view, and I told him his feelings are valid because I think they are, but I just don't feel like I really did anything that bad, and I don't know if this is more of his issue or my issue. So just wanted your take on it. Hope you can give me some good advice and good opinions. Love your podcast. Bye.
I think we're going to have two different ones. What's
opinions?
yours? You first.
Okay. I mean, I think that, yes, his feelings are totally valid, but I think the last thing that you said at the end of the call of like, is this more of like a him thing? And I think it is. Like, I don't think what you did, unless when you talked about it in like super hypothetical and it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to make this account and I'm going to do this. And if it was more like, hey, I'm thinking, but like, I don't know, maybe like probably would never, like if you really like underplayed the whole thing and was like, but that's crazy. Like I probably would never do that. and then you just did it. I think for him, it would probably feel like if he was feeling misled in a way, or if you were like, hey, I'll tell you before I make the profile, you'll be a part of the whole thing. We'll do it. And then you did it without him. And he felt like, again, misled. But I think if you were very much like pretty clear of the fact like this, and he was like, okay, cool, as long as I can see it. And you kind of left it at like, okay, cool. So like, as long as he can see it and all that stuff, that's fine. And then you make it. I mean, I think in hindsight, I think you probably also think we're on the same page that you probably should have told him when you made it. And so he knew who you were messaging at that moment.
Yeah.
But I think this is like, we have a line that we say here all the time. If it's hysterical, it's historical. And I think this is a clear moment for him that this is not about like, this is just bringing up all of those feelings again immediately. That doesn't have anything to do with you. It has to do with the fact that like, this is like, maybe that's how he found out his ex is cheating on him. Is like she was texting somebody else and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it just like triggered that kind of response in him. But I don't think the solution here is also to like not sell feet pics. Like, I don't think that's the solution is to be like, oh yeah, so this is something we're not going to do because I think you guys need to work, he needs to work through his trust issues in relation, like his, that cheating stuff. And I don't think you just not doing this is moving you guys forward and moving him forward. I think that's something that like
bother you.
Oh, I want to sell feet pics so bad. And Mats is like,
no,
fuck
if the
go
roles
do
were
it.
reversed.
And he wanted to.
If he like, I don't think, do people buy guy feet pics?
I don't know. I'm gonna level with you. I don't think anyone would buy his. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, my husband doesn't have to worry about me. But like, to me, it's hard because yes, it's just feet pics. It's not a picture of you naked, but it's inherently like it's sexual.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
But I think in that sense, in that initial conversation, you would bring that up and you would say that.
Right. If he agreed to it.
That's the part that,
but then there's two sides to that, because if he agreed to it, there's one thing to like agreeing to something and then actually seeing how you feel when something happens.
But then I don't think you should get upset. I think it should be like, hey, you know what? Like, I realized that I'm not as chill with this as I thought I was.
Yeah.
And I apologize. And maybe that's how he feels.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, so my proudest moment to date, which is, this is going to just scream how much of a Leo I am. My proudest moment today is someone made a cum tribute account of me, which is photos of me, and people would jack off onto the photos and like claim them and post the photos. And so I found out her name was Cum Slut Natasha, and to this day it was the proudest moment. I woke Mott's up in the middle of the night and just showed him this picture of this giant dick and like a picture of me with like jizz all over it.
What did he do?
He was like, "What the fuck? I'm trying to sleep," and I was like, "But that's the sort of thing." But again, if it turned out the roles were reversed, I know me, and I'm also. Whatever, everyone wants to be like, okay, two-way street, like that's so like pot calling kettle black. I know I wouldn't be cool with that.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? So,
but you would say that.
No, I know. Yeah. I would say that I wouldn't be cool with that. And so I don't think it's a double standard because I think it depends relationship to relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
And like he's fine with, but there's certain things that I'm sure he wouldn't be fine with.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest, like with this particular situation, like you're probably not going to sell feet pics anymore if you want to stay in the relationship, I guess it's safe to say, because it doesn't seem like he's cool with it. Maybe he handled it the wrong way. Maybe he agreed to it and then he took it back in a weird way, like by lashing out, which was not cool. But like it's pretty obvious that like the feet pic business is closed.
Yeah, no,
like,
I think that makes sense because I think you're probably right. I think he just wasn't aware of how much it would hurt him or affect him.
Or like how actually sexual it is. Like, because even though it's just feet pics, like, yeah, there could be conversations going back and forth, which is weird. Yeah. Like to me, if you're just sending a feet pic, then maybe okay. But like there has to be some conversation. It's like, hey, baby. Like, you know what I mean?
I didn't even think about that.
It's not just like feet pic ?
It's not like you can sell them on Etsy.
But that's what like Kelsey said. People will just send her messages like feet pic ?
Yeah, and then she'll just send how much money it costs
that.
back.
Yeah, it doesn't have to get sexual, but I would imagine if it's a business, it might get sexual eventually, and like that could be weird in a relationship.
And also, even if you're not responding, that those messages are there,
right?
And that he might feel
and someone's
nervous.
Probably pleasuring themselves to a picture of your significant other. It could get weird, like even though it's just feet pics.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe he took it back in a weird way, but like for your relationship's sake, like just like that's it. Feet pics over. Like you tried it and it didn't work. And that's part of a relationship. Sometimes it's not always sexual, but like people try businesses and ventures and things that don't work in a relationship. And therefore you have to decide and like weigh your options. And if you want to be with this person, compromise in that way. And I mean, you haven't had this business for like a long time. It's not like this was your livelihood.
Forward me your clients, dude.
No, for real. I just made an account.
I'm going to make one. What'd you make your
I don't know. I feel like it just depends on your partner, how jealous they are, how comfortable they are. It just depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for your situation, it's over.
Yeah. And I would take this as like an opportunity to have a conversation about like his past and like how you guys can work through that kind of stuff, because like unless I don't want to say that you're at fault, but like unless like you really like misled him, I don't necessarily think that you're at fault. And I think like maybe he hasn't dealt with those previous issues before. And I know I push therapy on everybody, but like if he's not in therapy or you guys try couples therapy, not even in like we have a problem, but it's like, hey, that thing really wasn't fun, and like I don't feel like I expected that reaction out of you, and like I don't want to put you in that headspace again to feel like that. But it's really hard because I don't know how to prevent that. Yeah. And if we can have those tools of communication, or we can like check in with each other in like a really constructive and productive way, I can avoid doing something that's triggering to you. And also you can then figure out what those specific triggers are, and like you won't project your past relationship onto ours.
For sure. I love that therapy talk. It is like so good. Wow.
Therapy's great.
I love that.
I'm a big fan.
It's true. I mean, I feel like a lot of times we just kind of interact in the world without realizing that there are so many underlying reasons as to why we do everything, why we think everything we do. And so we ignore that, and everything's just surface level. Even when you think you're in love, you're in a relationship, things aren't surface level. They are in a lot of ways, because if we navigated in a more honest way, things would be different. And like situations like this, it could be like, oh, just no more feet pics. But that there's a lot under there as to why he got so hurt.
And he doesn't know immediately in that moment, doesn't know why. And you're being super mature and realizing, okay, I don't think this is about me. I think this is about his ex. But it's really hard when someone's like yelling at you and you're in a fight with your relationship to not think it's about you. And it's just hard. So I think it's a good opportunity for you guys both to grow from this.
Love that.
And again, please send us your clientele. And then also if any of you guys any other of you guys sell feet pics, give us other what are the other, I would love to know anyone else's tips.
Do you just take pictures of your feet, or do you grip things?
I watched a girl do a video on like how to sell feet pics, but like she was she was starting from like she wasn't like she wasn't start. So I was like, so do you like would I use my main one to be like also by the way like would I tag my feet in pictures?
I think
with that account.
But how many men are following your account?
Oh, that's true.
Not that many, but
Exactly.
who knows? Who wants feet pics?
I know, but I'm just saying, like I think Kelsey probably has more male followers than you.
Oh, that's
do.
true. We have talked about that. She gets
Yeah.
on yachts, and I'm like, how do you do that? I want to be on a yacht.
I've never been on a yacht.
No, me neither. Have I? No.
Damn.
No, there's no way.
You would remember.
I feel like I would. Otherwise, then it was probably just a boat. Like if I don't remember, it wasn't a yacht. It was just a little
I've
sailboat.
been on a cruise. That's like
Me
a
too.
big
I've been
yacht,
on-
right?
Yeah, it's like a really big
That you
ship.
share with like a million people.
Lots of people from Florida. Really
Hey,
good
what's wrong
time.
with being from Florida?
I mean, you're from Miami, which is different.
Which is like the butthole.
No, I'm
No.
sorry. Are
Everyone
you kidding?
thinks it's not
Swamp.
until you live there.
I'm not going to lie to you. I
Swamp
don't love Miami.
Yeah, of course.
But it's definitely the best part of Florida. As somebody who has family from Florida and has to
You're right.
visit and go.
No, I think Orlando's the best part of
Are
Florida.
you fucking kidding me?
I fucking love Orlando.
Do you
What's not to
take
love?
away Disney World? Do you love Orlando?
Yeah, there's Universal Studios.
Take away Universal Studios.
But that's what makes Orlando Orlando,
Yeah.
though.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then I
say
like
that.
You take it
Orlando
out,
the
like,
best too.
You can't be
Yeah.
like take out the film
No,
industry and
but
what's
saying
LA.
like I love
Exactly.
Anaheim. Take out Disneyland. Do you love it? Actually, no one has
Disneyland,
ever said they
yeah.
loved it.
No, nobody says they
Take out
love
Disneyland,
Anaheim.
we'll be fine. Yes, it's okay.
I do like it though. It's less sweaty than
You like it because
Disney World.
How many?
Disney
mean,
World's so hot.
Yeah, but it's so
Yeah.
tiny,
And
It's
yeah,
so
exactly.
hot.
That's how I am.
and there's no
hate
alcohol.
Disneyland.
Boo. No, I can't go to a theme park.
Well, there's alcohol at
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
California Adventure. Yeah, you have to pay a whole other ticket and cross the cross the park.
It's true.
I know. The one time I went there, I just sat there at that like one restaurant that serves alcohol, and I rode one ride because the lines are insane. Like,
But
no
yeah,
thanks.
it is
Disney
true.
World 10 times better.
A million times. And there's like how many parks? 4 or 5 parks?
Yeah, but it's just so
Have you been to
hot.
Epcot?
Yeah.
Epcot is the
fucking
shit.
epic. It's
Yeah.
the best.
Okay, valid, fine, guys. You win.
Orlando's the best place in Florida, is what we're trying to say.
True. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Woohoo! Okay, guys, we are back from our break. We talked about Chipotle. You didn't hear it. So let's get into the rest of the calls.
I'm 21 and my boyfriend is 23, and we've been dating for about 6 months now. He recently admitted to me that he believes he is addicted to porn, and he's frustrated because he feels like he has this expectation of me to have more sex all the time, and when it doesn't happen, he's really frustrated. For me, my parents had me really young and have always been really strict about sex, and it caused me a lot of fear and discomfort with it in past relationships, on top of me also having a really, really low sex drive. For me, I've never cared to watch porn, and I don't really care to initiate sex. If it happens, I'm into it and I'm enjoying it, but if it doesn't, I'm just as content just being with him and spending quality time with him. And I'm also in school, and we live really far apart, and I still live at home, so there's not a lot of opportunities for anything to really happen. There was one time when we did have sex that he did something I didn't like, but I thought it would be awkward to bring it up right then and there, so I waited till after to tell him. And while he was admitting his frustrations to me, he said that when I did that, it made him spiral more, and on top of the weird expectations he has, now he feels scared of hurting me or that I won't like what he's doing. And now he just feels kind of insecure about that too. I'm not really sure what advice you can give to help or what I can do right now. And I don't want to feel guilty because I know I haven't done anything wrong. And he even acknowledged that these expectations aren't fair, but I'm frustrated because I don't know how to help him with the addiction or change the circumstances of anything else that's going on, especially when I already know myself and I'm not a very sex-driven person. So thanks for any advice you can give me.
Why does she have to be the one to fix this?
Dude, I don't. And also admitting that you're like him being addicted to porn and then turning it on you and being like, and I just have these expectations for you that you're not meeting. Like that, it's not.
There's so many things wrong here. Number one, if you're in a committed relationship or not, if you meet someone that night, anything that they want to try should be run by you. They should not be, I mean, my husband, your boyfriend of a long-term relationship would never do that.
God, it took me months to get Mott's to call me a slut when we were having sex. He was like, I don't really feel I was like, no, call me a slut. And then even not in the moment, I would be like, babe, I'm telling you right now, like, I'm like, please.
Like, just do it.
And it like was very much like, it takes a while. Or like, if you're into like rough shit, like choke me or whatever. I have never hooked up with like a guy where it's like, oh yeah, first time, like for sure I'm gonna choke you.
Well, I saw a thread on Twitter the other day. Everything I see is on Twitter. A thread about people normalizing choking and hair pulling, and just when you go to hook up with someone, people are just choking you, thinking you're gonna like that. That's a form of BDSM, even though mild, and there should be a lot of consent there. There should be a lot of talking about, even, I mean, are you okay with me choking? If you're in the moment, just say it. Like, just like, it's bizarre to me that people are like, oh yeah, and just fucking pull your hair. It's like, what the, first of all, these are extensions. And second of all, back the fuck off. Like, it can turn you off in a second. And not only that, it can trigger you.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially if you're just meeting someone, it's bizarre. So he should have asked you, you're in a committed relationship. That's weird. And that's what porn addiction does.
And I also think in that case, if you're the person who's like asking, like if you're the person who wants it, if your like turn on involves you doing something to somebody else, I also don't think that's I think that's a conversation to have not in the moment, because you do end up in situations like her where he didn't ask your permission, but even if he was asking your permission, hey, can I choke you in the middle of having sex? You're like, oh, I feel like I need to say yes, even if I don't like that, because then I'm going to take him out of the mood. And we as women have this whole thing of being like, oh, this thing that makes me really uncomfortable, I don't want to make this man feel uncomfortable for saying the thing that made me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. First of all, he needs to seek help for his addiction. Point blank. Porn addiction is a real thing, and it's affected so many people. He needs to seek help for that. You're not responsible for fulfilling his like fantasies.
Because that has nothing to do with his. If he's addicted to porn, no matter what you do, it's not enough. It doesn't matter. And that the idea that like, also to me, him saying that to you without being like, hey, I'm really like, I'm freaking out. I think I'm addicted to porn, and like I really don't like it, and I'm gonna go seek help and all that stuff. But him turning it back on you, to me, just seems manipulative. And it's not even like, oh, I'm struggling with this issue. It's like, hey, I'm gonna tell her I have this addiction to porn so I can get her to do what I want more.
Right. And it's only going to get more complicated down the line. Like if you're the more long-term in a relationship that you get, the more comfortable you are, the more, you do want to have those moments where you're just watching TV and you're just chilling, and you don't, and let's say your partner does make a move and you don't want that right then. You're just like, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. You don't want to be guilted or like coerced
or feel obligated. I have to do this.
That is ridiculous. And I mean, as far as like your low sex drive, if that's something you're okay with, like for instance, like after I gave birth, that was something I struggled with.
Oh my God.
I was not okay with it.
Yeah, no.
Because like I am like,
you're a Leo.
I'm a Leo.
Bitch, I want to fuck.
I'm a very sexual person. So I was like, I feel like I've lost a part of myself. And so I personally started taking maca, and it worked. It was great.
I think it tastes disgusting.
No, I take it in pills. I take it in pills.
Pills.
Yeah.
I'm down to try it. It's supposed to help with like hormones
too.
too.
Yeah, it helped with me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, for me, it wasn't okay. But if you're okay with that, then whoever you're with should be okay with that. But there has to be some talking on your part and his part, and then he needs to like go get help. Yeah, for sure. No, there's no questions about that.
Yeah, I don't even know what like the process of like going through therapy with that. But I think like if he's dealing with like a sex addiction, everything like that, like I would think more than anything, you guys would need to take a step back from intimacy and from sex like that, and just have those more like not sexually like intimate moments, just those intimate, like let's watch a movie together, let's hang out and do all of that kind of stuff. Because like, I just can't, I don't know if he's not, that's the thing with anything, with any sort of addiction, it's not something that you can do on your own. It's not something you can just figure out and kind of like bullshit your way through.
Yeah,
like,
because you would have to like stop yourself. And usually in addiction, you
and
can.
And if you think about in the same sense, if someone's addicted to heroin, any sort of like incredibly like an intense sort of drug, you can't quit cold turkey.
Right.
It will fuck up your body. Or the same thing with if you're recovering from like an eating disorder, like your body goes into these stages. And one of my friends is in recovery from eating disorder, and she does wonderful content, Meredith Foster, if anyone wants to follow her. And she talked about how she really wished she had been in treatment when she was in that like first initial recovery stuff. She's like, because there's so much stuff I didn't learn. She's like, I didn't know what to like expect with myself. Like I didn't know how to like deal with like the feelings that I was feeling or the physical like health stuff I was going to go through after that, because I didn't have like assistance and help. And there's no way to like recover from something without someone teaching you about that kind of stuff. Because in addiction, it's not a choice. It's something your body is now it's dependent on it. And it's a whole thing. It's not just like, oh, I can just stop and be done. And I think like he might feel like pride or like, oh, I can just figure it out on my own.
I mean, it's good he admitted to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, history shows, and I'm not trying to like compare him to like a freaking serial killer, but like history shows that like untreated porn addictions, like it can get pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like Ted Bundy has gone on interviews and been like, that's how it started for me.
Yeah.
Like it was then, and then it wasn't enough, and it wasn't enough. It's amazing that he's acknowledging it, but it's not amazing that he's like, this is the deal. And then also like, can you like,
it needs to be like, it's something that like, this is something I'm struggling with and I'm not okay with it. Like you said about like sex drive, it's something like recognizing about yourself and then being like, and this is something that's happening in me and I don't like it, so I need to fix it.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, I need someone else to go about and fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even, I just think that he needs to get, and even if you want to like schedule a couples therapy session with him so he doesn't have to be there like alone and you guys can talk about it together with a counselor, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And then also, again, consent in relationships is also like a really big thing.
I hate that everyone's like, oh, you're married to him or he's your boyfriend, like then do what he wants. It's like, sorry, no. Like,
no.
It's just bizarre. It's this mentality, just like you meet someone one night and you pull their hair, like anything sexual needs to, you need to feel comfortable. It's the only way to have a healthy sex life. You need to be able to go to your partner and they need to be able to come to you. And there's no weirdness there. There's no judgment, but there needs to be that conversation. Otherwise, it can get really weird and really unhealthy and actually scary.
Yeah, and just because you consent to one thing doesn't mean you consent to everything. And you have to consent along the way. And that's how you end up in awful, and I would say you like someone ends up, but like that's people who don't recognize that and don't take those, like that's literally how those terrible situations happen, is because people are like, oh no, I mean, you consented to fuck me one time, so you consented to fuck me all of the time.
Oh yeah,
or you consented to this thing and then this means you consented to all of that. And it's just not. And the fact that you felt like uncomfortable bringing it up and in the moment makes total sense, because there is like the, oh, I want to please him and I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. But he knew, everyone know, like if you're gonna like, and let's just say we obviously don't know what he did, but let's say he choked you. We know as a whole, as someone like, sure, I'm into getting choked. I know, but I know that other people aren't. Like I know that something, so he did something knowing you might feel uncomfortable and he just took that risk. And then if someone's going to take that risk, you have every right to potentially make them feel uncomfortable by calling them out on it, because they thought through it. There is not this like, oh, I didn't think anything. Like that's such a bullshit sort of thing.
And there's no limit to your relationship. There's no time or anything that doesn't allow you to let that person know, like, hey, no, I don't. Or if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to get choked in the past and all of a sudden you don't like it anymore.
You're on the mood.
You tell them like, hey, don't ever do that again, actually, because I hate it now.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you've been together 12 years. It doesn't matter. And there's no time limit on that. And you have every right to tell him like, hey, not cool. And also I'm not your little like sex toy.
Yeah.
We need to get this figured out because I'm not down.
And he should respect that. And then on top of all of this, the fact that all of this sex is about him. Like none of this is about your pleasure and him getting you off. It's like, you're not meeting my expectations for what I want. What about what the fuck you want? Like, does he give a shit about what you want or what you enjoy?
People with porn addictions don't usually even know what they want, because then they can get it, let's say, and they're not going to get it how they want it. This is not a produced show. Okay. I can't ride a dick for 20 minutes.
Shot.
Sorry. Like I don't have the stamina.
So like we talk about that all the time.
Oh, absolutely not. Can anybody?
No, my inner thighs are dying. You might do Pilates. I'm like, bitch, I'm not on top.
I'm like, how can you enjoy that? It just hurts.
Pain.
Anyway, so it's like, they don't even know what they want because what they want isn't real. A lot of the times, I mean, porn is highly produced and highly staged. And it's like, you're not going to get that. The girl's not even enjoying it that much. Lying. So like, what do you want?
Yeah, I just think that in your relationship, at the end of the day, like you're so concerned about his enjoyment and pleasure during sex. And it's abundantly clear he doesn't care about yours. And like, it is so all about him. Yeah. And regardless of your sex drive, like you can still have a low sex drive and still you still deserve to enjoy sex. Like you're not like his toy for whenever he wants to.
It sounds though too with the way that she grew up that there's a lot there that I don't know if maybe she naturally has a low sex drive or because she has never
medications too.
Yeah, there's so many things that can go into it, and you'd be surprised how much when you have a partner that understands you and that cares for you in that way and is willing to do what you want on your terms and vice versa. Your sex drive goes up and you become a lot more like, oh, wait, actually, I enjoy this and I want to be with this person. So unfortunately, the experience you're having right now is not catering to that at all or helping you in any way. It's actually going to make you retreat like more into yourself, get more in your own head, which for women is a fucking nightmare when you're in bed. You're just like,
I'm
thinking of
spiraling.
shit.
Spiraling.
I could hear like a creak in the corner. That's it. I'm thinking about like, what did I eat this morning? It's like down there. I'm like, it's like that's like our unfortunate reality regardless. So this isn't helping you. And so I hope that you two can work through this. Yeah. But it's a really big issue is all I'm going to say. It's not a small thing.
And if he's not willing to make a change and seek help for his addiction, I think that that's also a sign for you that it needs to be a big change needs to happen in your relationship. Like if he's not going to do that, I think you need to evaluate the fact that if you still want to be with him, because I think then to me that just is, I don't know, like anytime anyone says like, oh, I would get help, but I can't. Yeah. Okay. The whole thing is like, I understand that like therapy can be expensive, but there are much more affordable versions of therapy. You can go through your health insurance to do something like that. And then also, even if you're strapped for money in that sense, how often do you spend money going out to eat? How much are you spending to go buy alcohol? Like if you can take that money or fund money towards something that's going to better yourself, I just don't think, or even like through schools and through like anything like that, or even just like spending time like buying a book and doing like, okay, I'm going to take this like program to go through all of this and deal with and like try and figure that out. But if he's not taking any action, I do think it was just a manipulative sort of thing. Yeah. And also there's guys with low sex drive. We have so many girls who come on to the podcast. We're like, my boyfriend has such a low sex drive, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And that's something that like you have to find that compatibility. And like you said, once you meet that person, it's so much more enjoyable for both of you because you don't feel like there's this expectation that you're disappointing anybody because you're on the same page. Yeah. And this is something that like, I think if he doesn't want to deal with this and this is just how it is, I think you need to find someone who's on the same page as you. Yeah. Because like, God.
That made me feel kind of gross.
Me too.
Yeah, didn't like that one.
But we're sending you lots of love.
Good luck.
Let us know what happens. Yeah. Should we go on to the next?
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and potential guest. I'm 26 years old and I'm from Germany, so sorry for the accent. I'm with my boyfriend now for 7 months and it's great. He's a real gentleman and he makes me laugh all the time, and the sex is pretty great. Thank you, by the way, for the blowjob tips. Worked like a charm. Anyway, I'm very happy, but there's this little thing that annoys me shitless, and that's his dog. Don't get me wrong, I love dogs. I'm a total dog person, and I myself grew up with one. But let's just say it like it is. His dog is a fucking nightmare. She's spoiled to no end. She's allowed to sit on the dining room chairs. She's allowed to lick the plates that are on the table. She's allowed on the couch and she's allowed on the bed. And if I say no to her, she just barks and doesn't stop. It drives me crazy. Till last week, I was determined to stay out of it. Not my dog, not my problem. But then something happened. So while we are having sex, the dog is not only in the room. She was watching us and not just from the other side of the room. No, she was sitting in front of the bed. First row, best seats in the house. So I'm waiting that he says something, tells her to go and close the door behind him, but nothing. And that just turned me off completely and I just wanted to finish him off. So I gave him a blowjob and he came. But in that exact moment, the dog jumped on the bed and started licking the sheets. which is just plain gross. I looked at him again to check if now he's saying something, but still nothing. So the dog is not just lying in bed with us. Little reminder, we are still naked. She's lying between us, under the blanket. So it's him, the dog, and me on the far end on the other side of the bed. My question, am I a bitch for feeling annoyed? I mean, I know the dog helped him through some pretty rough times, and I initially laughed that he had such a great relationship with his dog. But the thing is, I don't. It's not my dog. For me, it's just a dog. Am I overreacting? Should I say something, or is it just something that I have to accept? I mean, it's his house, his dog, and his bed. Any advice would be great. Thanks, bye.
Is this real?
This is a lot.
I mean, okay. I don't think, okay.
I think we're on the same page.
The cum thing's weird.
Yeah.
But everything else, like, is fine.
to me, minus the dog in the room having sex.
Okay, that happens sometimes.
No, but do you notice?
I looked this up, and 80% of people are like fine with dogs being in the room, and dogs, like, scientifically, they are attracted to intimacy of any kind, so that's why they like to watch.
Okay, hold on. You
have a kid. You're very busy. I'm not going to judge you.
Well, even before.
I'm holding you to a different standard.
No, like, okay, if we're like 75% of the way done with sex.
Oh, and the dog walks in.
No. And then I didn't know he was there.
Oh, yeah.
I also have a cat. Happens with the cat. And then I look to the side and they're just fucking staring. I'm not going to lie. I just look the other way and I'm just like, let's just fucking do it. Because what am I going to do? I'm married. You're right. I mean, who has the time? But like, I'm not going to get up and like, it's not like he's getting up on the bed. That would be fucking weird. Now, the whole, like every other issue other than the sex one, I don't understand. I mean, my husband banned my dog from sleeping in our room and I still like will never forgive him.
Yeah.
Because my dog used to sleep in between my legs, like literally like warm, and it was like so cuddly. Not like that. That was weird.
No.
I know what the concept.
No. I understand.
It was cuddly, okay?
Yeah.
So like I loved sleeping in the same bed as my dog until I met my husband and he said that is like weird and that's gross and we can't have animals in the bed. I resent him a little bit for that because I'm like, I love my dog. Like, I love my dog and now we have a cat and I love my cat. So
just not as much as your dog. Well, dogs, cats.
No, I love them both the same.
No, it's not
She's
true.
a little crackhead. I love her. But like, to me, I personally get annoyed when, like, I'll give you an example. My brother's now wife, when they first met, like, she like didn't like his dog. And I just like hated that. Yeah.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it tells me something. I mean, I know people are allowed to not like dogs, whatever. You're weird.
Yeah.
But like to me, it gives me like a little like, okay, that's not your dog. Like, just either don't interact with it. But like, there's nothing wrong with a dog like being on the couch. Like, where is the dog supposed to go?
Yeah.
I
agree with you. And I grew up with like a demon dog. So like, I don't want to like refer to like, so, but we don't have a dog, but I have no issue with like a dog being like, when we get a dog, I have no issue with the dog sleeping in my bed, unless maybe the dog is like shitting everywhere. And then I'd be like, okay, cool. No.
Or even if they shed a lot, that would be like, no.
But also it would be because it's our home in that sense. Like, I don't think that like that, like staking like, oh, I don't like this and it's not your place.
Yeah.
I think all of the rest of it, I think it's fine. Some people have like really strict boundaries with dogs and other people don't. Like, I love like my best friend's dog. Literally, we would just like cuddle on the couch and like, I love that. Like, that's my favorite. Like, I don't want to have a dog that just like sits in the other room and is like, no, I want to love you at all times.
Yeah.
Like, I want that. And some people are different with that, but I think like it's not it's it's like you're dating him and you're gonna this is something that's gonna come along with it, or it's not. Like you're not gonna change him, and I don't think it's fair to, because I think like both of you are allowed to feel the way that you feel, and neither one of you is right. Like you like this, he likes this. It's not. No one needs to make you feel the same way.
If he loves the dog, you're not going to stop him from loving the dog. I mean, my husband, he won the bed thing. Okay, whatever, because we both sleep there. Yeah, but everything else, he has not won with the dog, and it's been years. And I'm just like, I literally say, I'm like, he's my firstborn. Like, this is how we do things. Okay, like I cooked for my dog for the first 2 years of his life until he decided he didn't even like.
He
my
also
fucking
lives
cooking.
with you.
Yes.
And it's his bedroom now too. It's that stuff.
So he gets a say. But even then, he doesn't get a say in like whether we have the dog or not.
Exactly. He won that one.
Exactly.
And then the rest, it's like, this is the constellation.
But the cum thing's weird.
The cum thing is very, very weird.
Well, why was there cum on the bed if she gave him a blowjob?
Maybe it dripped out of her mouth.
That's a rookie move.
Maybe. We know. We've had people that don't like to swallow. So
I know someone who literally she waddles to the bathroom and just spits it out and washes her mouth. And I'm like, that's not nice.
It's also in your mouth for so much longer.
Yeah, just shoot it
swallow,
back.
100%. Got it. Ow, hit my face again.
Yeah, the cum thing's weird.
Yeah, I think like, and if he's not noticing it, I think you're hyper aware of the dog because like you and this dog are, I don't know, I don't want to say you and the dog are having some beef, but like you are hyper aware of the dog in the room because like you have this like, this feels like intruding a lot. And so you might notice it before him. So I would just bring it up to him. And
did she just point at it, or did she say there's cum on the bed and your dog's licking it?
Yeah. You have to say something in the moment about that stuff. Yeah. I think like if it's like licking on the plates, like staying in the bed, like all of that stuff, you have to decide, is that a deal breaker for you? Then stop dating him. But like, I don't think
or
you
have
have
sex at your house.
Yeah. But I think you would say like, hey, like, I love you. I think and even if you don't love the dog, say you love the dog. I love your dog. But I will say, like, I don't know if you noticed, but the last time that we had sex, like he was just like watching us, and like I felt super uncomfortable. It really took me out of it, and I don't know if you noticed, and it didn't take you out of it, but it really like it took me out of that moment that I was like having such a great time with you. And I think like if we can just like, I love having the dog around, like I'm all for it, but like if we're gonna have sex, like can that just be like just you and me in the room? And I think that's a very fair thing to ask.
Super. Anytime that I've noticed my animals were watching was like after the fact. Like obviously if we're about to
if
just
I'm about to come, bitch, I'm not gonna let anything get it. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me stop.
The last time, like you know how cats get like really wide eyes? Like my cat was like, and I was freaked out. I was just like, it was weird. So like if I know that they're in the room, get out. But if you notice like at the end, it's whatever. But let him know that, and then the dog needs to leave when you have sex. That's fair enough. I don't want my animals watching me. Just happens sometimes when you have a bunch.
Exactly. And I think like that if he's very much like, no, I really enjoy him in there, then you're
then
like,
we got something else. That's another issue.
Then we're fucking out. Then we're like, great to know you. Thank you. Goodbye. I was gonna say Guten Tag, but I'm pretty sure that's hello. Well, now it's time for Don't Blame Them. This is when our listeners will call in with their own advice. So if they've been through something similar to something from a previous episode, they can give us their own 2 cents. Like if their dog enjoys watching a bug, you know?
Yeah.
I really hope we don't get calls of people being like, I think that's totally fine that your dog wants to watch you fuck. I don't even like my stuffed animal. If I recognize my stuffed animal is right next to me, I'm like, I'm going to toss you.
I feel like maybe they interpret it that they don't mind it, but really it's just that like, what are you going to do? Get up and...
But again, like you're saying, it's towards the end. It's not like...
Minus. I can't speak for everyone who fucks with their pets in the room.
But I think that's the acceptable, like that makes sense to me. I think that's I think if like the minute you start like making out and you see your animals right there...
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, for sure.
Very much agreement. Okay, we ready? Planking.
I heard that episode.
Okay.
Yeah. Planking.
Yeah.
And we were very confused.
Yeah.
Hi, I was calling in regards to your recent episode about the first situation about the lady who has the UTI and her boyfriend can't orgasm with penetrative sex. So my husband when we got married, he had the same issue where he could not, where he wasn't able to come to penetrative sex because he's been masturbating for such a long time doing that style. we realized the only way to really help with that was like just kept practicing. A lot of the time it's just like you train your body to only really respond in that way, and you kind of just have to start over and retrain it again. So it's going to take a while. It took me and my husband a couple of months, but eventually he was able to orgasm when we finally had sex. Also, regarding UTIs, when you have sex, that's actually a really common problem. I'm a nurse. That's a really common problem with like a lot of women when they start having sex, is that they just experience a lot of UTIs. So my suggestion is, always pee after sex. And also, like, if this is like a problem that just keeps occurring no matter what, maybe you're going to have to be on like preemptive antibiotics. So a lot of the doctors don't go ahead and prescribe antibiotics, for women who like are sexually active while they're taking it. Therefore, they can just prevent UTIs from occurring to begin with. Otherwise, just you're really sorry about your situation with UTIs. I hope maybe you should talk to your doctor about like other options and let him know that that's like a current issue. And then with your boyfriend, honestly, my only advice is just to keep practicing. It's mainly like a problem that occurs when you've been masturbating in that situation for a long time, and you just kind of have to like practice having sex with him penetratively in order for him to orgasm. Okay, thanks. Bye.
This is from the episode with Nikki Limo.
That is bizarre to me.
We never gave the advice to pee after sex because I didn't think we needed to.
Well, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, but I realized we never said that in the episode. But that's also when someone's saying they have repeated UTIs, I automatically just assume like you're peeing after sex and you're still getting UTIs. But that's all bad.
I pee and have to wash, or else I'll get UTIs. I'm like prone to them, which they're the fucking worst. But the preemptive antibiotic sounds a bit much to me. Yeah. That scares me. I used to be on antibiotics for acne.
Me too.
And it's just like, being on antibiotics for a long time is, but correct me if I'm wrong, don't you only get UTIs if it's without a condom?
So I looked this up once, and it's more common to get a UTI without a condom, but it's not it's not impossible. Oh. I don't even think it's like 90-10. I think it's more like you're more likely to, but it's not.
I thought it was like not a thing without a condom, because the only time I ever experienced UTIs was without a condom. Yeah. Like that, otherwise it was fine. But yeah, you definitely have to pee after sex. And it's very interesting to me to see. I've never even heard of that like men can't orgasm like when penetrating, because I would think that feels so much better than anything else.
I know.
Like vaginas are like warm, like little
cozy hugs.
But if you haven't been in a vagina, then you don't know.
But if they go in and then to like still not, like, to me that's bizarre. I feel like if I had a penis, I would just like want to find the nearest vagina.
If I got to switch and I had a penis for a day, first thing I would do.
Get on Tinder and just go to town. Yeah. I wouldn't even masturbate. Like I need to be inside of a vagina, because I would imagine that feels amazing, like warm.
Yeah,
and
you guys seem to love it.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to me. I had no idea that was a thing. But yeah, for the infections, you have to like, and not just like pee a little bit. Like you have to sit there until you pee, and then,
not even wait. And even like don't wait. Like literally the second I'm gonna pee. It's not like 20 minutes later. It's not half an hour later.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like a lot of times, like when men will like come or something, that maybe they feel like, oh, now I want you to come or something. Like, no, you need to go wash first, and then you can engage in whatever you want. Because if you sit there and do until you come, like that's already introducing all that bacteria. So you gotta like go pee like ASAP.
And I think as much as like preventative antibiotics, maybe it's nice to have some on hand if you get a really bad one. So you're not, but you're not taking them every day. Yeah, obviously not going to give medical advice, but there are some I've heard them on ads for other podcasts that they're like, it's more like emergency, like those powder drinks. It's like that you pour into water, that's a preventative thing. It's not an antibiotic, but I think it's probably something that has like cranberry in it and then a bunch of other stuff that is like good at just flushing your system. Yeah. So I would say, and then also I think I'm pretty sure drinking a lot of water is supposed to be helpful preventative wise too. So finding like maybe more like natural like preventative measures. I'm not a fan of like the natural like treatment when you're like dying. Like no, like that's like take something. Yeah. But yeah.
So here's all the preventions. It says drink plenty of water, drink cranberry juice, wipe from front to back, empty your bladder soon after intercourse, avoid potential irritating feminine products.
Oh, laundry detergent too.
and change your birth control.
Yeah, maybe if
even soap can do it.
Yeah, maybe if you
Scented
focus
soap.
on all of those, if you treat, like, if sex is the thing that you've been like, no, I don't say like that's been the cause that you've been trying to deal with. Maybe if you do everything else, then maybe the sex is kind of just like what's aggravating it because it's all like you're prone to it in every other part of your life.
Yeah. If you do all of that and then like make him wash his penis before sex and it still happens repeatedly, something's like.
Yeah, I would totally go to a doctor and
for
just
sure.
find out that if it's something different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
UTIs are the worst.
I know. Knock on wood, I haven't. That's not wood. I'll do it later. But knock on wood, I haven't had one in a long time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say ever. I was like, holy shit.
No. I had the yeast infection from hell though. Do you want to hear how crazy?
Can't be
this
worse than
is?
mine. I got it when I was pregnant. My husband had to put my medication in it. Yeah, can't be worse than that.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
being pregnant just sucks.
Yeah, I've heard terrible things. So where can people find you on the internet?
Oh,
everywhere.
I guess on YouTube, Jessi Smiles.
And Instagram?
Oh yeah, I have one.
You don't post
Don't
enough.
necessarily utilize it.
No, you don't.
Who can be? There's too many social media platforms.
This is true.
Who can fucking
and you
keep
have
up?
a kid.
Yeah.
And a cat and a dog.
And a cat and a dog.
And a husband. Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all.
I mean, even before that, I sucked at Instagram. It's hard. You got to take pictures, get ready for it. Like, who has the time?
Not me. Just post old pictures.
I bought your presets.
You did? I was just
did.
going to say, I'll give you some for free.
I bought them.
Oh my God, stop.
I love them.
That makes me so happy. People should also follow you on Twitter too. I think you're great on Twitter.
Oh, thanks. I usually just get into problems.
No, but it's great because I follow you on Twitter, but I also, how I know people are like great on Twitter and it's not just my opinion. I see your stuff usually retweeted before I even see you post it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it'll be like retweeted by 5 people that you follow. And I'm like,
I feel like I just get
it.
on there to just like talk shit and then I get nervous because people who are not my followers see it and then I delete it. That's my Twitter experience. It's rare I tweet something and don't delete it.
But then it's fun for people who follow you because it's like, oh, let
catch it
me
while
see
you
if I can
can.
see it. And then it's gone. And you're like, what happened?
It's a reason to turn your notifications on
Hell
because that shit's going
yeah.
to be deleted.
Oh, I should turn my notifications on for you. That's a good
It gets
idea.
crazy. The other day I got into some trouble. I'm like, oops, delete.
Oh, I'm going to.
Didn't never happen. It was only up for an hour.
Wow. Mine's only for spelling errors. And people are like, we saw you delete that. And I'm like,
Oh no,
so sorry.
I have some opinions. Everybody's just like, shut up, internet person. You don't have opinions. I'm like, okay.
No,
delete it.
I like your opinions.
Thanks.
Well, guys, if you want to be on an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. Did not stumble over that one. And if you are an international listener, you can send us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, Don't Blom Meme Pod. Our own social will be listed down below. And if you are not a part of our private Facebook group, you should become part of it. But make sure you answer the questions and you answer them. All of them. And you answer them correctly. And if you don't answer them correctly, you're lying when you say you've listened to every episode. And you're a fake fan.
Damn.
And we're not allowing you in because you're going to snitch.
It's true. There's 67 people sitting with no response.
Dude, someone
to
said, I'm not going to say what the questions are on like right now, but someone answered a question with the answer Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
I just want you to know none of the answers to any of the questions are Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I didn't even know you can
Or
do a
towel.
questionnaire.
None of them are towel either.
Oh my gosh.
Like and none of them are your opinions. They're just
I think
facts.
they said the Dwayne Rock Johnson because you said that he looked like he was moist all the time.
Yeah, but like unrelated.
But
Like,
unrelated.
just know all of the questions, they're
Are
not your
things-
opinions.
And they're things that we say in the podcast multiple times.
Yes. It's if you've listened to the
Could
podcast,
they just look
you'd
it
be
up?
like,
Yes.
I'm
One
sure.
of them
Yeah.
is a title of the episode.
It really won't be that. It's really not that hard. But if you think we're just asking your like thoughts and opinions, we're not. like that's not how we're asking you. Like figuring out who we want to be here.
What happens when they're in that it's so exclusive?
We
This is-
talk.
now I
mean,
need to be in this.
You,
Facebook.
yeah, you
I
should
can't be left out.
You have to be able to answer the questions though. It's just very. I don't know. I also want to make sure that like obviously not everybody like we've got like at the point that we're recording this, we've got like over 400 people who are in our group, and right now a huge majority of those people are active. I don't want anyone to just be in the group and just reading and not like engage. You don't need to ask for advice because a huge part of it's like you can talk about the episodes, but a huge part of it is asking for like your own personal advice. And you don't have to ask for advice, but like there's so many people who will just comment on something, and I say this in a positive way, who will comment and be like, hey, I've never, and like the question will be like, has anyone been through something like this, blah, blah, blah. And people will respond like, I haven't at all, but like, I'm rooting for you, like totally here to support you. Even that kind of stuff, I'm like, cool, you're not just like lurking and like reading other people's business, you know?
That's what I would want.
Yeah, but then you just have to like
or
engage
just, like,
a bit.
No,
tap and like something.
Yeah.
Or laugh at something.
Yeah. Or share a picture of your dog.
Yeah.
We have a whole section of people sharing pictures of their animals. Or like, it's like, hey, what should I name my dog? Like my new puppy or my new cat. And everyone comments. But if you're just like lurking to like learn shit about people, no.
That's weird. No.
It's like, you're too sketchy.
Go to Reddit for that.
100%. And like, also like, that's what this podcast is. Like you already have that. Why do you need more?
Yeah, that's true.
Get a hobby or a
Sounds
job.
so exclusive. I love it.
It is.
I'm going to do my homework.
You'll
see my submission.
It's really fun. I have a really hard
to a
time
few
not...
episodes, so you might already know.
Yeah. I have a really hard time not responding to the stuff people say. Like, I feel like I'm always like, you want my opinion. You need my opinion. Like, even if all these other people have helped, I'm like, no, I need to help too. Don't worry, I don't have a savior complex. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.